I'm your first Golden Bachelorette.
Well, people, it's that time. Brittany, Kendall, Mike, and Dawn, we ask, will Joan walk away with the second love of her life?
Wow.
And we found out. It started out with a very relatable theme that happens a lot in the Bachelor franchise of, am I unlovable?
Oh, God.
Every season, if there's not an am I unlovable moment, the seasons, does it exist?
It doesn't, no.
The limit does not exist.
It does not.
If you have 24 people after you, you're not unlovable.
Just because Pascal was like, sorry, I date people half your age, doesn't mean you have to go to a place of am I unlovable?
Yeah.
It's the end for me.
There were so many LOL parts. I don't know what was happening. It felt very dystopian future of like, what are we watching? Very Hunger Games vibes. Where literally there was a point where they came back to Jesse and he says, we just saw Joe at her lowest point. And I thought, what?
I mean, that was
I'm pretty sure it's when her husband died. That was when her lowest point.
Thank
not
you.
this moment on your show, a TV show.
Thank you, Dawn. I was like, did he just say that? So we head off to Bora Bora, where again, I have to ask the question, does she just cruise alone while she goes to these places?
Yes.
Like, that's
she
weird.
gets her own ship. It's very Titanic. She lost Leo, you know?
And as we're introducing the different bachelors, we're watching their families react in the lower squares, which is, again, very goofy, very weird. We get to meet Joan's family.
Yeah.
Who's going to say it?
The vibes are weird. The one brother looks like a serial killer.
Or it very, very Dahmer-esque.
Thank you. The son.
We were all
It's those
thinking,
glasses.
We were all thinking the
I
same.
have Dahmer glasses like that too, but
So do I.
Like, he's cute. Like, actually, like, straight on, he was a handsome guy, but like the initial, like, very stoic, very
it was like Hillsong Church vibes,
Yes.
right?
Well, his personality definitely felt lacking in the sense of like, he started out strong going, Joan has 4 kids and has to give her all to them.
I'm like, she does?
And I was like, well, you're grown. Like, I get that we all want our grandmas, we all want our moms and dads around, but like, you're a grown man.
You a grown beat man.
You are quite grown, sir. And so it felt like that was such a weird vibe as Chalk enters. Chalk said something that gave Mike a giant ick at this moment as well, right before he meets her family.
It was just because you know how I feel about Chalk. He's got that just, I don't know, grimy, just salesy, just very like whatever vibe to him. But he said a point right before he met the kids, and he said, this is a make or break moment. This could ruin all of the path I laid down or all the groundwork I laid down, basically in a very manipulative tone, like I have put all of these pieces in place and everything is going smoothly and her kids could ruin it. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I know.
It was so creepy.
And then we had the world's most awkward kiss with the
This is
weirdest.
my biggest ick. Oh my gosh.
Don, tell us what happened.
So he goes in to meet the kids, and he, of course, is ABC always be closing.
Yes.
Chalk. So he has already laid out a plan for exactly what he's going to say. He is like a politician in this way. He already has a prepared speech, and he immediately has his arm around her or is holding her hand, and he's like, I just want to tell you kids that I love your mom, and I want to tell you I'm going to do something right now I did in front of my family, and that's give her a kiss. And I mean, if I were his kids, that's abrasive. In the first minute I meet you, you're going to say, I am dominantly, I am claiming your mother. Like, I was like, ugh.
I know.
I mean, so ick.
It was so horrible. I mean, and then there was this, like, that probably was the worst part of the whole episode. So if you like are into horror still and you're not didn't get enough for October, just go to that point. You will die. Then Nick, her son, gave a real, like, are you my daddy moment where I literally had to ask, like, sir, because he was like, you'll never replace my dad.
Basically.
First he goes, like, do you think you could step into my dad's shoes? And he's like, Chuck had a really, like, me moment of, like, you're grown up. Like, I don't think I can.
And I knew what Chuck was going to say, and he said it.
Exactly. Well, I could never fill the shoes of your dad. Yeah.
First of all,
John was a great man.
First of all, Peyton Manning wannabe.
It was a very "Are you my daddy" moment that I had LOL. And this is where I really want us to like lean into and talk about this whole time. I think we need to think more about who Joan is than who Chalk is. Mm-hmm. Joan has been looking for somebody, and this is the moment I realized it, who is going to take care of her. Mm-hmm. I think the burden of life has been heavy for her.
Yeah.
And she's looking for someone who's going to promise to take some of that off. So when Chalk rolled in with a keychain that represented an apartment that they will share, and literally has probably fake keys. Yeah.
I'm like,
what?
Where's this coming from?
Have you seen his bank account, by the way? Like, do y'all know how much an apartment in New York is? Like, what
does he do?
I don't know, you guys.
No.
But that was the moment I was like, this show is done. It's been done for a while. I really think that like we can all think of somebody who just goes, I want the knight in shining armor to come in and take off like the everyday weight. And that's when I realized Chalk was she was the mark, and Chalk was the perfect person for this woman.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The whole thing just felt so, to your point, weirdly scripted. She just wants to be like dominated. And I'm not even talking about in a sexual way.
No, it's like she's very submissive.
Yeah.
Very much so. Like, and it's fascinating to watch play out because I didn't see it coming until you saw it coming.
Yeah.
You know, and you're like, ew, how do you not get these vibes all the rest of us are getting?
Yeah.
And they were even happening during the show, like even in the closing moments. And but like he just, every time Jesse would say something to her or somebody else would interact with her, I can't imagine what he was doing in the backstage when she was talking to Guy. And those two were so close because he is so protective of her. That Jesse's trying to close the show, and he's just like, when can I grab her? When can I kiss her? When can I grab her? When can I kiss her? He's like, he doesn't want to look at the camera. He doesn't know where to look because he's just creepily staring at Joan the entire time. He is a bizarre dude.
1,000%. There was only one thing to tie up this, where she has to acknowledge that she has to say goodbye to Guy.
Yeah.
in his very nice bungalow.
Yeah, no idea.
So
no
sweet.
idea.
We have to remember that Guy is not watching the show along with us. Like in the moment when this happened 2 months ago, he had no idea what her dates with Chalk were like.
No.
So he is blindsided.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, and the moment I realized how much so is when they were hugging and he was still trying to convince her. And he goes, I know we would be happy together. And I'm like, she said goodbye. Like, she's not asking for you to fight right now. And I think we've all been there being like, but like, I just want you, we'd be good to get, like, you're so right, Don, that insight of like, he had no idea. He is not watching the same show we are watching.
He was physically trembling. His hands and mouth were trembling. I mean, I had a lot of empathy for the guy. Guy at that point.
The gay.
You know,
he's all the way in Bali, like Bali. You're like, that's a long
Bora
flight.
Bora.
Oh, yeah. Bora Bora, worse. That's a long flight.
Yeah. And I kept thinking how lonely it is to have a really nice bungalow by yourself. Like,
with nothing to do.
Also, that rain confessional, he comes in on that confessional all soaking wet. That was brutal. Let the man try. I'll get another shirt.
It was very like Allie Noah Notebook. Like, soaked to the bone, waiting for his Allie to come home.
And then when this is the biggest lie of the night, you'll always be a part of my life, where we know Chalk is not going to allow that at all.
Oh, no.
Why would you? I mean, even if you were a guy, if it hurt that bad, I wouldn't want to be a part of her life as a friend. You just got to heal and move on to being the Golden Bachelor.
Guys, can we just say the one thing I know we all felt too? As soon as it was really clear within the first 20 minutes, we were like, oh, this is an hour and a half show, and within 20 minutes, we know where this is going. This was the most boring, could have been an email show I've ever seen in my life.
All I wrote is bored. They are perfect for each other.
I didn't even make notes. I'm like, this is boring.
You didn't need to. You literally... We do have to acknowledge, too, the funniest thing, one of the funniest things said was the newest golden couple... You guys, they're the only golden couple.
They are.
I'm sorry?
And there's one other thing, too, because you guys might not have been excited about the rest of it. I was really excited about one thing in particular.
We know.
The college football playoff is expanding to 12 teams. That's right. More teams than ever before will compete to take home this beautiful piece of gold and hardware
Hands over the
right
shoulder.
here. It's the National Championship Trophy.
Camera slides out as we see the trophy.
He goes,
A
it
little
kind
bit,
of looks
I'd
like
say.
the Golden
So be
Rose.
sure
Like
not to
he's
miss
trying
the
No, it
most
doesn't.
exciting and the most dramatic college football playoff ever, beginning December 20th on ESPN. I know the three of us will be watching.
so
and I'm
bad.
very-
It's like a
So
golden orchid
bad.
/ vagina.
It literally
Yes, absolutely. A golden vagina.
At this point, the show is a parody of itself. It's like an SNL skit.
Yeah.
Hey, Joan, you watch college football, don't you? Weirdly enough, I have this
Oh, yeah.
trophy.
Yeah, you love it, don't you? Like, I was like, where's this going? And
It's
then
so
it's
bizarre.
just, yeah.
And the most enthusiastic crowd ever who claps at everything.
Everything.
There was like 6 people clapping going, I'm sorry, what? Like,
am I getting
Is this
hoodwinked?
a plug for ABC?
is Quaker Oats going to pop out as well? Like, what is happening
The only
here?
commercials they missed were Viagra.
Yeah, which is because they didn't have a bed in the fantasy room and nobody's going to be throwing around Joan
The
at that
sales
age.
team was like, we don't have a bed. We can't
Next
we
year.
can't push Viagra.
Next
my
year.
God.
Chalk had that couch, and trust me, the way he was looking the next day, that couch served just fine.
God.
You can do interesting positions on couches you can't do on beds.
Oh, yeah, but we don't want to think about Chalk
No.
and Joan.
Always be Chalk.
Always be chalking.
Always be chalking.
We got to go on this adventure with you guys, and we'll always remember it.
Yeah.
It was actually so much fun, but we understand. You. At the end of the day, I think this is another lesson. I'm glad they found each other because
we are.
we don't want them with other people.
But I'm not saying I'm not going to be really happy when they break up.
Which could be soon, and we're going to watch all that. But
Dawn, congratulations, by the way.
Yes, winner.
Dawn is the winner of our fantasy
I
draft.
can't believe it. And sometime we have to talk about some baked goods I'm supposed to get.
Yeah,
It's true.
all right. She doesn't forget. Thanks, guys, for going on this roller coaster with us.